Hi, and welcome back to the Emmy Awards. First and foremost, I want to apologize for the messed up timeline that I've been on recently. I'll get into what's been going on in my life in a tiny second, but I really loved the routine of this podcast, of recording it early in the week, releasing it on Thursdays. It was perfect for me. I loved it. I was vibing. And then the month of May kind of hit me like a ton of bricks, and I'll explain again later why. But yeah. Also, I am back in my parents' basement, but the location is different because since I haven't recorded a podcast here since April, and mid-April, I don't even know. The bed that I used to do the podcast on, it's just they completely. I had my whole little setup with a bunch of books as my tripod and stuff, and it's all gone. They undid the bed. I don't know how to make a bed that big. It's very complicated, so I just set up in, I'm still in the same room, but just in a chair. If you care, if you're watching this, if you're listening, this means absolutely nothing to you. Hopefully the audio is okay, but since I'm in a chair, I'm trying to figure out how close to keep the microphone and everything. But I don't know if I love this setup and location, but I have been putting off recording and for so long that I just needed to get it done. I came down and it was different, and I didn't expect that because nobody ever comes in this basement. But apparently people did when I was gone, so it's different. And I was I brought my laptop, I brought my microphone, I brought the whole setup. I was I'm not doing this later. I might have to there might be a jump cut at some point because I let my parents' dogs out, and one of them still hasn't come back. So, but I really couldn't put it off because I have actually a lot I need to do. Anyways, none of this matters to absolutely any of you. I just, wanted to explain the weird location. And, yeah. So, if you are a regular listener and you're Emmy, we missed the podcast, please make sure to like and subscribe, turn on your notifications, follow me on social media because I'll keep updates there. I haven't really been having many updates because it's a very low, I was gonna say budget, but it's just a very low viewership podcast. I don't have that many fans, so who am I gonna update? If I post on my Instagram, 90% of the people who follow me on Instagram don't listen to my podcast, and that's fine. But I'm recording this on a Thursday, and typically I release on Thursdays. I'm hoping next week, which will be the week of the 2nd, I think would be a week from now, of June or something. I don't know. The first week of June, I'm hoping to record early next week and have everything back on schedule. So where I've been. So I went to New York at the beginning of this month, more the end of April. I was in New York for 11, 10-ish days. And then I came back to Maryland for 3 days. And then I drove to Ohio for senior week at Kenyon College, where I graduated in December. If you don't know who I am, I graduated from Kenyon College in December. And because I graduated in December, halfway through a school year, I'm technically I was technically part of the class of 2022. Even though the alumni, when I graduated, they were do you want to be class of 21 or 22? And I was 21, because I did graduate in December, but I graduated in 2021. I guess technically I would have graduated in 2022 because that's when they could verify that I graduated. When I graduated, I didn't have my diploma yet because they couldn't verify. Anyways, so I could have walked at graduation again. And so they emailed me. They were do you want to walk? And I was not really, but can I do senior week? Because Kenyon has this thing called senior week, which I don't know if a lot of colleges do, but it's classes end and dorms close on a Saturday, and then that whole week seniors get to stay on campus, and then they graduate the next week. So you have a whole week of events sponsored by the college, and also just time to spend with friends who are graduating. And I didn't get to have that because I graduated in December. So I have to say, as somebody who graduated in December, I had a final, and then I had a ceremony, my graduation ceremony, a few hours later. It was very not, I didn't have a ton of time. There was no, it was really last minute. like really rushed. So I think senior week is a really great concept. Obviously, I think most schools, even if they don't have a week, like they don't like you have a final and then you graduate the same day. It's just because it was like a weird semester thing. But Kenyon's such a small school that they can like they have the week there, so they can like verify that everybody who thinks they're graduating or like is about to graduate did actually complete all their requirements, and they have time to print the diplomas and everything, so you actually get your diploma when you graduate at Kenyon. I got mine later, obviously, because they couldn't verify that I passed everything and print my diploma in time because I had a final the day of. But so I didn't want to walk at graduation because I already walked once, and I just knew that if I walked to graduation, my parents would want to come back to Ohio, and like maybe somebody else would, like my family, extended family would want to come to Ohio. And I just didn't want to do that again. Like, while I'm not fully moved on into the next stage of my life, like I don't have a job yet, I haven't moved out of my parents' house, like it feels like there's been time, and I've been doing so much since I graduated with the podcast and applying to jobs and interviewing and stuff like that, that I just genuinely was like, I didn't think I'd want to walk again, but even if I did, I just really don't want it to be like a whole thing. Like I didn't want it to be a whole thing. So I was like, no. But they were like, sure, you can come to senior week. So I went, and it was really fun. But and then after Ohio, I came back. I was here for like literally like less than a day. And then I took a train to New York to babysit my sister's dog, Brad, who you guys met in the last podcast. If you watched the last podcast episode number 13, Swifties. So yeah. And then I got back on Sunday. So you would think like, okay, I mean, you got back Sunday, you could just record the podcast again Monday or Tuesday night like you normally do. And yeah, I was going to, but like, I don't know. I was just so exhausted. The exhaustion like really kicked in because I didn't really have like a break between everything. And I am somebody who like really values routine. And I have to say that I get really bad at like following my routines, even when I'm not physically in a space where I live. Like, I really need to get better at it, but like, I stopped journaling when I was at Kenyon. Like, my medication, I took it mostly, but there were some days I didn't even take any of my medication. Like, I just get really bad at being like self-care and like my routine when I'm not physically like where I live. And I need to get better at that because like after a trip, I have to say I feel so disoriented and like so exhausted. And I think I still would to some capacity, but I think if I was maintaining things to feel like normal and regulated, like the things that I do when I'm in my living space, I feel like if I got better at doing that when I wasn't physically where I was living, like trips like that wouldn't be so disorienting and exhausting. But I got back and I was like, I was so overwhelmed, especially because Kenyon going back for senior week was honestly a very emotional process and like experience. And I didn't really have much time to process it because I got back, dropped my cat off, and then took a train like the next day to babysit my sister's dog. And then when I was there, I was like so focused on like taking care of him and making sure that he was okay that I didn't have a ton of time to process. I've also missed group a few times. I'm in group therapy and I've missed it like 2 weeks in a row because of like the chaos. And it's not good for my mental health to lose those things that make me feel sane. So I got back and I was like, I'm still not fully in my routine. I mean, as you can tell, I'm recording this like on a Thursday, or maybe you can't tell, but for me, this like feels very abnormal. I'm recording it on a Thursday. It's like the middle of the day. Typically I do it at night. But I started doing it at night because I live with my parents and my dad works from home a lot and my mother didn't have a job when I started this podcast, but now my mother has a job. So she's gone the whole day and my dad's traveling right now. So, I have the house all to myself. And I was like, well, the earlier I record this, the earlier I can start editing and hopefully it won't be out super late. So that's why I'm recording it now. Cause I was like, I need momentum. So yeah, it feels very weird. I also like the fact that I'm in a different place is kind of weird. Like I'm in the same room, but I'm doing it in a different way. And, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of it as like a fresh start, like a post hiatus. Season 2. I'm kidding. This is still season 1. I don't know if I'm ever going to do seasons. Fun little podcasting thing. When you have an RSS feed, which is what you need to connect to like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that stuff, you can pick seasons. I've made everything season 1. I don't know if I'm ever going to do season 2. I don't know. Maybe if I get to like 100 episodes, I'll do season 2. Maybe like next year will be season 2. Who knows? I'm not thinking about that right now. I have like 14 episodes. This is episode 14. But anyways, yeah, so things have just been I'm like really not good at like maintaining my routine. And New York for those first days were for the first 10 days were fun. I did record a podcast there because my sister was there to kind of hold me accountable and she really wanted to be part of it. So that was really fun. And I did bring my podcasting microphone to Kenya and I was like, I'll record one. But honestly, the week was just so overwhelming. There was this one day where there was like a tailgate party and they just had like a brewing company. I got one beer and then I was hanging with a friend and she's like, I didn't like my beer. So I tried hers and I liked hers actually. So I was like, ooh, can I have your beer? And then I had the second one and I was like, do I want to drink this? After I drank the first one, I didn't. So I gave it to somebody else. But anyways, live, laugh, love. There was a wine and paint night that was really fun. I painted something and then I showed it to my mother and she was like, wow, that's so pretty. And I'm like, thanks, Monique. But yeah, so things are just like weird in my life now. It also feels weird that the semester is over. I have to say, when I was actually there on campus, I felt very weird and out of place. And like, it was not like, I don't know. I think I have this issue with Kenyan where because it is like the first place I felt at home and it is like such a warm, happy place for me in so many ways, I'm really bad at looking at things and being like, it's okay if it's not perfect. Like, I've been so miserable in my life. I thought senior week was going to be like incredible, amazing, 24/7. I was going to be filled with so much love. It was going to be all the positive, wonderful aspects of my Kenyan experience in 1 week. And it's like, that's just not realistic. I did have a lot of really great experiences and I got to see friends and I got to take pictures and I had really, really fun memories. I'm really excited to get my disposable camera, developed. I think I had some really positive experiences and I'm really glad I went back. I love Ohio and it was nice to just, even the days that I had breakdowns, I was like, I know how to be sad here. I'm sad. I drive in my car a little bit, listen to music, get Taco Bell and then cry while I eat it. It's a vibe for me. Ohio is just so beautiful too. It was just a really wonderful experience and also not the best experience, but I think that's part of what makes the great parts so great. So I'm really glad I went in retrospect. Kenyan is just a very painful place for me. And it's all of my emotions there are heightened because it's if I'm triggered by something, it's I don't know. I can't explain it. And maybe this doesn't make sense, but I feel when there's a place that holds so much trauma for you, even when you're happy and you're enjoying parts of it, it's any sad emotion feels 10 times worse because it's loaded. At least for me, that's how I feel at Kenyan. When I'm sad in Maryland or sad when when I'm visiting my sister, if I get sad or I have an intrusive thought or something, it's not as bad because I don't have all those loaded memories of I don't have any loaded memories with my sister's apartment in New York. I even have to say in Maryland, I do somewhat have, it's a similar thing where it's sad emotions here are amplified because I'm in Maryland. I don't know. But in that way, I also feel a lot of positive emotions are amplified by being at Kenyan because it's all the good parts of Kenyan felt so magical to me. And I just love Kenyan. I genuinely love Kenyan. There were just really hard parts of it. And I think it's really weird when you graduate halfway through a year because it's you're entering the workforce in a really weird time. And a lot of your friends either graduated 6 months before you or they're graduating 6 months after. And it's it's weird. It's a weird time to graduate. And coming back and like, I just didn't feel, I was like, I'm not the class of 2022. Like, it felt weird being there. It felt weird. I also feel like I just know people more from the class of 2021. I didn't end up going. I could have probably pushed to go to senior week with my class last year, but I thought it would make me sad. And I also like, I would have had to like request special permission or reach out to somebody. Like, it wasn't this thing. And I guess I did that this year too. Like, I literally got housing with Brez Life. Maybe I'll like eventually do a whole podcast episode on my senior week experience. But because there were like a lot of moving parts and like it was a fun time. But I don't know, maybe another time. But yeah, so it was like, I don't know, part of me wishes I had done that last year. Especially because some of my best friends graduated in the class of 2021, and I think it would have been fun to have senior week with them. But, you know, life moves on. I didn't do senior week last year, and it's fine. I'm happy with my senior week experience this year, even though it wasn't perfect. Nothing is. So, yeah, that's my little trip to Ohio, and then I drove to Ohio 7 hours, and then I drove back to Maryland 7 hours, and, like, honestly, driving like that much isn't like a huge thing for me. Like, I was genuinely fine I'm gonna rewind a little bit. When I got back from New York, I had 3 days, and like those 3 days I spent like making sure I had absolutely everything I needed for Kenyan. I bought Ivy a harness. I I did absolutely everything. I was emailing with Residential Life to make sure I had a room. Like, I was just doing everything I could to make sure that I was set to go to Ohio. So I like didn't have much of a break when I got back, and I also just was like, I'm not going to record a podcast. I'll record one at Kenyan. I didn't, but, you know, it is what it is. I did edit my podcast then, I think, because I recorded one the week before, and then I was trying to get it out Friday the 13th, and I didn't. But it came out Saturday the 14th when I was on the way to Kenyan. I didn't have time to promote it because I was driving. And then I spent 5 days at Kenyan, drove back, and I got back to Maryland at 8 p.m., 9 p.m., and then I had to unpack my stuff from Kenyan, pack for New York, make sure I had clean underwear. I also used a smaller suitcase because I was only going for 2 nights, so I was I'm not going to pack the big suitcase that I packed for Kenyan. I was driving, so I overpacked for Kenyan because I'm it's fine. It fits in my car. It's no big deal. But for the train, I was I don't have to anyways. So then I took a train to New York. My train left at 5:15 in the morning from Union Station. So I had to get up really early, and my mom drove me to the train station. I lost my AirPods when I was in Ohio, so I couldn't listen to music on the train. It was not a very pleasant experience. It was early enough that I slept through most of it, but there was this old couple that wouldn't shut up. And at some point I was asleep and I felt like they were talking about me. I don't know. They probably weren't talking about me, but I felt like they were talking about me, and then I couldn't really focus and fall asleep after. I don't know. It was not a good time. Okay. It wasn't a good time. And, then I got to New York, was there for a little bit. It was honestly, once I got to New York, I was fine. But the last day I was there, it was so hot. It was way, way too hot. And then I took a bus the night back, Sunday night back from New York. And I got back to Maryland at 11 on Sunday. So it was just a nonstop weekend. Not even weekend, just weeks, month. I'm tired. I'm so tired. So that's where I've been. General life update. Let me see. Went to Ohio, went to New York. My birthday. Happy Gemini season. For my fellow Geminis, Gemini haters, live, laugh, love. I am a Gemini. But I am on the cusp, though I've been told cusps don't matter. I would just like to say that because you were Emi, you're a Gemini. But then my birthday's literally the last day of Gemini. So it's people are I'm happy all Gemini season. And then because I like to think that it ends with a bang. My birthday, the best day of the year. So, yeah, my birthday is June 21st. Mark your calendars. It's a big day. It's a big day. Maybe I'll try to record a podcast that'll be a special birthday podcast that'll be out on my birthday. But yeah, my birthday's in a month, which is crazy. I can't believe that 22 has gone by so quickly. I'm about to be 23 in my fantasy, I I don't know. It's kind of crazy. 22 really went by really quickly. I have a really good feeling about Gemini season. Like, I feel like good things are going to happen. I'm like happier. I feel like things go my way. And I know it's like probably in my head and it's like a placebo effect where it's like better things probably don't happen to me during Gemini season, but I think they do because it's my month. So I'm convinced that this entire month is about me and that everything is going to go my way. So if you disagree, I don't care. So yeah, I'm like really excited about Gemini season. My cat's also a Gemini, so her birthday is June 15th. Mark your calendars for that because that's also a national holiday. She's gonna be 5. And then July 7th is the day I adopted her. I met her July 4th. So I met her like, she was a year when I met her. So like a year and like a month when I met her. So it's gonna be 4 years since I adopted her. Yeah, because I adopted, no. Yeah, 4 years. Because I was like, I adopted her in 2018 for some reason. I was like, it's 2021. It's not, it's 2022. It's going to be 4 years since I adopted her July 7th. I met her July 4th. It was like a Thursday or something. Because I got her through a rescue, but the rescue that I got her from, they have some animals that live in like some pet stores. So she was at a Petco. And I saw her or a PetSmart, and I saw her on the website, and I was like, I'll go meet her. And I held her, and she purred, and it was a lovely time. And then that Saturday, I adopted her. I will confess, okay, I didn't want to adopt her at first because her name was Oreo. Not because I didn't, like, love her immediately. I did. My sister was like, I mean, this is the perfect cat. And she was right, okay? But her name was Oreo. My cat's not my sister's. My cat's name was Oreo. And I felt mean changing her name because my sister's dog is named Brad and we got him from the same rescue and we kept his name. And I was like, I don't want to change her name, but Oreo's a stupid name. Like, part of me just wanted to get a cat that had a cool ass name already. And Oreo was a stupid name. Sorry to anybody who named their cat Oreo. She's black and white, like very cliche, okay? I'm not going to name my cat Oreo. Like, I just didn't want people thinking that I was that uncreative, okay? Like, I majored in English. I like to think that I'm, like, kind of fascinating, interesting, like, groundbreaking, intelligent. That was not a coherent sentence. Maybe I would name my cat Oreo. Anyways, but then when I saw her again, I was like, she's perfect. Who cares? I'll change her name. So I did, and her name's Ivy. Her Instagram will be linked below. But yeah, so I love Gemini season. I feel like a lot of good is going to happen to me. I also, like, I love the summer because I can start wearing yellow. Hopefully I can get a tan. Like, I'm just vibing. This is my time. Like, I feel like everything is going to go my way. I'm like a finalist for a job, but I don't know what's going to happen with that. So I don't want to talk about it too much because I'm like, if I talk about it, maybe I will jinx myself and be like, I'm a finalist for a job. And then this comes out and I got rejected. So, yeah, I don't really know. I think I just feel very hopeful. I feel very hopeful that even if like the things that I am hoping happen don't happen, I will be okay. I don't know. I feel good. Maybe it's because the semester is over and I feel like any other, like, I don't know. I felt really weird coming back to Kenyan at first because I was like, everybody's going to ask me what's going on with my life. And the answer is nothing. But the truth is I'd be like, oh, I started a podcast. Like, I'm applying to jobs. Like, I'm a finalist. And people would be like, I mean, that's something. That's actually something. Like, you're doing something. And people would, like, you know, and it was nice to talk to people. And a lot of people were very nice. Some people were like, oh, okay. Like, some people, you know, I don't have a job. So it's like, what can I say? But I'm still doing something with my time. You know, I'm trying to enjoy myself to like, and I honestly left, like, there were a lot of people who, like, I talked to a lot of my friends who like already have plans, and like, I didn't when I got out of college. Like, I was like, I'm going to start applying to jobs now. I wasn't applying to jobs my last semester at Kenyon because I, at the last minute, had to take on like a lot of responsibility with the newspaper and designing it by myself. And I just, it was like, I don't have time. I don't have the mental capacity. I struggled a lot in college, if you didn't know. And it took me a while to be on a full course load without like an accommodation to be on a reduced course load. And so my last semester at Kenyon, I was on a full course load with none of my classes were pass fail. Like every single class I was doing for credit for a grade. So that with the newspaper, with my job, with an article I was writing for the Collegiate magazine, like I just had too much going on. And I was like, I need to get through college. Like I need to just get through college and I'll think about what's happening after, because I already knew that my parents were going to let me live with them. Like, thank God. And so I knew that I had some time to figure it out. And I'm really grateful for that, because I think it allowed me to be really present my last semester. And while the first few months here, I was like, oh my God, I should have like been applying to jobs before. I don't know how much of a difference it would have made. And it's not what I did. And what I did ended up working for me, because I had a good last semester at Kenyon, all things considered. And yeah. And it was still very hard with everything I was doing. It was really hard, especially with finals. I remember there was this one professor who I was like, we had like a presentation for the final. And I literally, when I got to the presentation, I was like, I don't have a physical presentation. I just talked about it a little bit. And he was like, I met with him and he's like, I mean, just turn something in, because I don't, like, you're this close to graduating. So, yeah. So it was nice that some people had things figured out, some people didn't, and it just made me feel better about where I am in my life. And I think even if I don't get this job that I'm a finalist for, and even if I don't get a job anytime soon, I think I'm really glad that I've taken this time to like start a podcast, talk about my feelings, process things, like, you know, and even like I was thinking about it, like the Collegiate magazine article that I wrote and the actual magazine that I designed, like that wasn't done until like April, like, you know, and then I just went to senior week. I feel like, not that I'd been like holding on a connection to Kenyon and like I wasn't mentally ready to like move on and that I was holding myself back, and, you know, like I don't think any of that's true, but I think I feel a certain like weight lifted off my shoulders and a certain like, I don't know. I feel like there is a new chapter that's about to start in my life. And maybe it's because I'm literally about to turn 23, or because I went to Kenyon, or because of any number of things. But I feel really like there is a next phase is coming in my life. And I think I said that a few podcasts ago. And I genuinely mean it. I feel like regardless of what happens, like I'm going to turn 23 in a month and my life's going to go on and I'm going to start a new year. I'm going to start a new chapter. And I don't know. I'm glad that I started this podcast. I'm glad that I have been focusing on like myself. Like I'm glad for these 5 months, as annoying as they've been, and as ready as I am to no longer live with my parents. Because I really am. I'm really ready. I also think part of the reason, I was thinking about this earlier, but like I mentioned I haven't been to group. It's because I mentioned that I had a really good job interview. And then the last time I went to group, I was in New York and my background looked different. So a few people asked me if I got the job and I'd moved. And I was like, no, I don't know yet. And then I was like, I don't know. He said I should be here soon. And it's been like a few more weeks. So I like really don't want to go back. I did want to go back to group until I had an answer, because I didn't want to go like 2 weeks in a row then being like, Emi, do you have the job? Yeah. So I don't know. I think I'm feeling hopeful. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like, I don't know, maybe it's because it's summer and it's like nobody's in school right now, but it's like, I don't feel that behind for my peers. Like, sure, people are going to be starting jobs and like there's just something to me about like academic success and academic competition that feels so much more daunting and overwhelming. And I felt so much like FOMO and also like insecurities comparing my I don't know, maybe it's because I was technically class of 2022, but part of me was like feeling like everybody's lives were moving on at Kenyon and mine wasn't, and my life in general wasn't moving on. And it's kind of nice now that Kenyon's like out for the summer, and that when it comes back, a lot of the people there are like, so like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel at peace in a way I didn't, because it's like summer and it's Gemini season. I don't think I'm making absolutely any sense. I haven't been to therapy in 3 weeks. I feel like I haven't been present with my emotions in a while. But yeah, that's a bit of a life update, how I feel about things going forward. My birthday is June 21st. Please mark that on your calendars. Yeah. So, and then my cat's birthday is June 15th. So, crazy, crazy month we have ahead of us. Regardless, I'm going to Connecticut for my birthday. So me and my sister are going to visit the town that Stars Hollow is based off of because we are big Gilmore Girls fans. So that'll be fun. She booked a really cute bed and breakfast at a place like 20 minutes away from that town. And it's like so cute. Like the pictures are so cute. I'm going to get so many cute Instagrams and probably film a podcast there because it's really cute background. And I'll tag obviously them as if I'm sponsored. I'm not. Not right now. I mean in the video. Because if I right now it's like but yeah, so I have some fun plans, but I'm also ready, at least for like the next 2 weeks, to not do anything. Like I am so ready to just not do anything for like the next week. Like after I get this podcast out and hopefully I record a podcast like early next week, and I get back to my schedule, like I'm excited for that. I do because I could potentially be moving sometime soon if I get the job that I'm a finalist for. I am trying to like go through the boxes that I've had packed in my like parents' garage since like December when I moved back from Ohio. I started going through them before I went to New York. I started going through them right before I went to Kenyon because I wanted to make sure I had like all of my summer outfits and my summer clothes and stuff like that for Kenyon and stuff. So I need to like, I've been meaning to do that anyway. And now like there's motivation because I'm like, if I have to move sometime soon, I would like to be somewhat organized and I need to start separating like what I'd bring, what I want to leave with my parents. I accumulated a lot of crap when I was at Kenyon because my junior year, my parents had been living like back and forth from Brazil and Maryland for like my first 2 years at Kenyon, and then going into my junior year, which ended up being kind of like, I don't know, I had like a very prolonged senior year, so even though it was my junior year, it feels like earlier than that. Like, I don't know, sophomore and a half year, I guess, I don't know. Like 2019, my parents moved to Brazil like full time. My dad was already living there full time, but like they rented out the house in Maryland that we had, I guess. So when that happened, I like kind of packed absolutely anything that I would want. Because originally it was like 3 years was when they were considering like the lease was up or something for the people who were renting out the house. I don't remember. But it was going to be like a year after I graduated, like we weren't going to have the house. So I was like, I need to have absolutely everything for college and after. So I had so many things that I didn't use really on a day-to-day basis. And I don't really want to take with me. I just didn't want them in storage somewhere, like inaccessible to me. But now that my parents live here and they're going to be here for a while, like things are pretty accessible to me, so I feel a lot more comfortable leaving like a good amount of stuff here. And the job is in California, so if I get it, like I'm going to be leaving behind a lot of sweaters, a lot of long sleeve shirts. Not all of them, but I have a lot of sweaters because I lived in Ohio for 4 years. So like I don't know. All of this is very like I'm trying to not get ahead of myself, but it's good motivation anyways with like me feeling like there's a new era in my life and like my birthday's about to happen to like start organizing my stuff. And I've just been in denial about living with my parents for so long that I was like, I'm not going to get settled. And I don't know if I want to get settled, but I do want to get organized. So I'm going to do that. I started already, but I want to finish. So I don't remember my train of thought. Let me see. That's a life update, things that are going on in my life, where I've been. Hopefully things will be normal here on out. I have a bit of a headache. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm stressed out. Part of me is like afraid that I have COVID, but I don't know how I'd have COVID because I wasn't a close contact to anybody unless I got it on like the bus or the train. But I don't know if I'd start showing symptoms now. But the only symptom I have is a headache, which I get headaches a lot. Like, I need new glasses. Didn't you guys miss this where I just talk about whatever I want once a week? That was another thing. When I would tell people at Kenyon that I started a podcast, they'd be like, what's it about? And it's just like anything, you know? Like, this isn't like a true crime podcast. It's not like a Bachelor podcast. It's anything and everything I want it to be. You know why? Because I love The Bachelor and I have a lot to say on The Bachelor, but it's like, I don't want to be a Bachelor podcast. No hate to Bachelor podcasts. Like 90% of the podcasts I listen to are Bachelor podcasts, but it's just like, it doesn't feel that interesting to me. I'm like, what can I add that Game of Roses isn't already doing, you know? And I did do a Bachelor episode. Like, if I have something to say about The Bachelor, I'll just say it. That's the beauty of the Emmy Awards. We just talk about whatever we want. And then, in theory, I give an award at the end of every episode, but I've been really lacking in doing that. It's really more for, like, the pun than the theme, the whole, like, awards thing. But I will try to give out Emmy Awards if I can think of them. I don't know, maybe once a year I'll do, like, you know, like the Steamies when Frenemies was a thing? Maybe I can. I'm kidding. But yeah, so that's where I've been. That's what my life's like. Let me see. What else do I want to talk about? What's been on my mind lately? I don't really know. I really don't know. I mean, there's so much going on in the country, but I don't know how much I want to talk about it because it's like very serious. And like, I've just been shooting the shit for the first like half hour of this podcast. I don't really want to get into like serious stuff. I do have to just say though, and I'll put a timestamp in the description so you can skip anything that you don't want to like listen to. Like the first half hour is just going to be life update, but the rest, any like little things, all section off. So you don't have to listen to a rant or like me giving my opinion on something if you don't genuinely care. But I have to say, as somebody who immigrated to this country, it's really, and I know that like American citizens feel this way too, but it's just exhausting feeling so hopeless. Yeah, it's just exhausting feeling this hopeless. And it's like, I know like absolutely like a million people have said it and you see those infographics like all the time, but it's like after Sandy Hook, nothing changed. What's going to change now? Like nothing. And it's just exhausting. It's exhausting. It's scary. It's infuriating. It's like all of the above. And I was talking to my sister about this yesterday because of whatever. But I don't know. There was this Bachelor guy who tweeted like, if you believe everything Democrats, like if you follow the Democrats 100% and you follow the Republicans 100%, like you're probably just a sheep. And I started talking to my sister and I was like, I hate this idea that you have to be like moderate to somehow be like more reasonable or more logical or like not extreme. And it's like, it's not extreme for me to like have my beliefs and believe them and be consistent. Why is it more like morally like, and don't get me wrong, I am somebody who like, I am in dialectical behavioral therapy, okay? I believe in finding the middle ground. I believe in dialecticals. I believe the two opposing things can be true at once. But I also don't think there's anything wrong with having consistent, like strong beliefs and not straying from them. Why do I have to move closer to the middle to be somehow more logical? I don't know. I just feel like sometimes there's such an emphasis in this country about like going across the aisle and like finding common ground. And while I think that's important, I also just think it's like, you don't have to dilute your beliefs. You don't have to like move towards the middle to somehow be more like reasonable. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. And I get really angry. Like I get really angry when it's like this idea of moderates or like no, I'm consistent in my beliefs. I've felt the same things since I was like pretty young and I've grown and like now I have like logical, intellectual, like thought out reasons for things I believe, but it's like I don't get that. And maybe I'm not making a lot of sense. Again, I have a headache, okay? I'm not here trying to be like a political talking head. I'm not good at stuff like that, okay? I feel like I'm better at like writing stuff down. And I also am just better at like advocating for stuff based off of my own experiences, not because I think you have to have experiences to like stand up for things. I just find it easier to speak on things that I've experienced, and I don't know, I feel like I'm more compelling when it's something that I have a strong emotional tie to. Not that you have to, okay? And I know people are going to hear that and think that like, oh, everything's an emotion. Maybe not. Like, really only my friends listen to this podcast. I just get defensive when I say something politically, because I just like, I don't know if this is like something that happens to young people a lot, or it's just something that happened to me a lot. But it's like I would say something and I'd be very passionate about it at like 17. And I'd say it to adults and they'd be like, well, you'll change your mind in 20 years. And it was just like infuriating. So I feel so defensive of like my beliefs and stuff like that. And I hate that stupid saying that it's like, if you're not like left leaning when you're young, like you don't have a heart. But if you're not right leaning when you're old, like you don't have a brain. Like, no. Like, I am young. Thank you very much. I do have a heart and I am young. But I also think that it's like, I don't know. It really, and it like a conservative definitely came up with that idea that like being conservative is more logical and like you have to have more like thought out. And it's like, that's just not true. Like, I feel like it's also like this idea that you can't be emotional and care about things and have things that like obviously your emotions play a role and also logically have like facts and ideas to back it up is like, so like I feel like we are just constantly discrediting like emotions and like humanity. And it's like, why is it wrong that like the fact that like seeing people discriminated against makes me angry or like sad or hurt, or like, why is it bad that then informs the way I think about things? Why does me wanting to like minimize human suffering and caring about people on a human level, like why does that have to be a bad thing? Why does having like caring about people, and it's like, don't get me wrong, it also has to be like paired with like logical, like it's not being I don't know, I'm not making any sense because I didn't come with things like thought out, but I just said a bunch of stuff and I think I'm gonna cut it out because it's like, it sounds stupid and I would like to be well spoken when I speak about things. So I might cut out all of that. Probably not all of it, but like the parts where I feel like I sound stupid. And if you have a problem with that, I really don't care, okay? And if you somehow stumble onto this and you don't know who I am and you think I'm an idiot, okay, congrats. Everybody does, okay? Yeah. See, I feel like I would probably, maybe I wouldn't. You know, people always say this, and then when you experience a lot of hate, like, it's different. But I feel like on some level, I would be okay receiving internet hate because it's like, what are you going to tell me that I don't already think about myself? Like, oh, you think I'm ugly? Congrats. Like, been thinking that since I was like 3 years old. Okay, you think I'm stupid? Wow. Almost failed out of college. Like, you're right. Congrats for nailing that one. Yeah, so I really don't care if you disagree with me. Things can be nuanced and like, you know, two opposing things can exist at once. And I also think that just because you can like hold space for other people's beliefs, it doesn't mean you have to change yours. And I don't know if I made absolutely any sense. And this is not a political podcast because I am an idiot. So, I honestly, I don't think I'm like that much of an idiot. Like, I think I could say something intellectual, and I do try to like consume a lot of political content. So I feel like I could, in like, if I went into the right mindset, like think of something eloquent and intelligent and thought out with facts and stuff to say. Like, I'm sure I could do that on a good day, but I have a headache and this podcast was not, like, I didn't go into it with that. It's just, there's a lot going on in this country and I kind of like felt like I wanted to say something. I don't know. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I'll probably link something below, if I can find anything to help like families affected by the shooting in Texas, anything. I don't know if there's anything there. But yeah, I guess where I started this whole tangent is that it feels really exhausting to feel like nothing changes and there's nothing you can do. So, and I don't know if I would feel less hopeless if I was a US citizen, but I feel like not even, because if something I said didn't make sense, and you want to educate me or correct me, please do, okay? I'm an idiot. I'm a self-proclaimed idiot. Like, it's what it is, okay? I'm also just a human person who is who is doing her best, trying to learn, constantly evolving. But yeah, things are just frustrating right now in this country. Yeah. What else do I want to talk about? Something less heavy. The Bachelorette is coming back in July. Feels like forever. So I don't really know why I mentioned that. Literally nothing's going to happen with The Bachelorette. Let me see. What have I been watching lately? I love talking about television, you know? Okay. Confession, and don't hate me, okay? Especially if you're a Swiftie. I started watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians, okay? Okay. I started watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Sorry about the, like, jump scare of, like, I was talking about something very serious and now I'm talking about the Kardashians. Okay, I am who I am. I also, like, when I talk about something serious, I'm like, I need to, like, make it light again. So, again, there'll be a timestamp, so if you wanted to skip that whole section, you can. I'm going to talk for a little bit over an hour because I don't know how much I'm going to cut of the stuff before. If this episode's shorter, it's because I didn't like some of the stuff I said and I cut it out. Okay? Not because I'm not afraid to give my opinion, just because I would like just be more eloquently about things that I care about. And sometimes I feel like I just rant and vent and like I don't have a consistent train of thought. So if I cut stuff out, it's genuinely just because there wasn't a cohesive thought. And I don't want to say something that isn't a cohesive like thought, because I do genuinely have like reasons and thought out like deep held beliefs for like tangible reasons. It's just like you're not in my brain, and sometimes I forget that because I'm literally just talking to a camera to myself. So I'm just saying things and they make sense to me, but then when I'm watching them back, I'm like, that made absolutely no sense. So if I cut stuff out, it's not because I like regretted something I said or because I'm not trying to be controversial. It's because it didn't make sense, and I don't want to present stuff to people that doesn't make sense and isn't actually fully thought out. Anyways, so confession, I've been watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And the reason I started watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians is because they released a new show on Hulu. And I started watching that one because I was like curious, you know? And then I was like, I really need reality TV, okay? I've watched all of the Circle episodes that are out, unless a new one came out recently. Is there an episode? It's a Thursday. There might be new episodes of The Circle. Oh my God. Anyways, but I've been watching The Circle. Like, I watched The Ultimatum. I watched, like, all of that stuff. And I just really wanted a reality TV show that I could watch, like, in the background without having to pay too much attention to it. And I find the Kardashians kind of funny. So I started watching their old show because I was like, why not? So I've been watching it. I hate not starting things from the beginning. So I started from season 1. I'm literally on season 11. Like, I have to say, though, the first few seasons, each episode was like 24 minutes. Like, it was like they were half-hour episodes, and they didn't have that long of seasons. So I literally finished the first 2 seasons, like maybe more than the first 2 seasons. But I finished like a lot of the early seasons really quickly before the episodes got longer. So like a lot of it was just really fast. But it's been really funny. Because there are a lot of like sounds, you know, that you know from like or that I've heard from the Kardashians, be it on TikTok or something, and it's so funny, like finally watching them. Like that one scene where Chris is like, Mason, this is the land of your people, and Courtney goes, this is not the land, this is Glendale. Like, iconic. Genuinely. I find them funny. It's also like, I don't know. I find them funny, but also like, that is the most attention I will ever, like, I'm not, I refuse to buy stuff from the Kardashians, except maybe one day I'll purchase Skims, because I have been curious about Skims. Just like their cozy set, it looks kind of cute, but I don't really have a ton of disposable income right now. I don't have any income right now. I'm unemployed. So but in general, I try not to like purchase from the Kardashians because I find them to be kind of annoying and problematic. But I did start watching their show because it is kind of funny. Okay? Kourtney is my favorite. She's a queen, a legend. So happy she just got married to Travis. Like, Kravis shipper right here. There's another scene in the early seasons where she's like talking about Scott to her mom, and her mom's like, you need to be more consistent or whatever. And Kourtney goes, he's a Gemini. Because if that's like a reason, like an excuse for his behavior. I have to say, I think I've said this before, but like Gemini celebrities, it's like truly a hit or miss. I really just like is so on the nose in the two-faced aspect. It's like, you know, Geminis are either great or horrible. It's like, I don't know. One time I was talking about Geminis to people, and I was like, look, people think we're two-faced, but we're just multifaceted, and they don't understand us. And I swear to God, I've seen that on a meme before of like Geminis, like we're not two-faced, we're multifaceted. But like, it's true. Like, I am sorry that I am a complex being that you do not understand. That's a you problem, not a me problem. Look at these earrings that my mother gave me. They're little bees. And like part of the purchase helped bees or something. I don't know. They're kind of cute. Anyways, I thought they matched well with my flower cardigan. This used to be my sister's and she gave it to me. Yeah, I'm coming up on an hour and I have a headache and I want to stop, but I also don't know how much I'm going to cut out. So I don't want to make this episode too short. Let me see what else has been on my mind. What if I recently found this new artist from TikTok. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but she has this song called Ghosted My Therapist, and it's just a vibe, okay? It's a vibe. As somebody who hasn't been to therapy in 3 weeks, a vibe. A vibe. I'm really all over the place. How are you guys doing? How is everybody feeling? Are people excited about the summer? Well, another thing about Gemini season. I saw this thing that was like, Gemini, your season is a pregame to summer. And I love that because I do, like, Gemini season, it ends on a bang, the summer solstice, which happens to be my birthday, which is the beginning of summer. Like, I'm sorry, name a more iconic person. I'm a Gemini. I'm a twin. I was born on the summer solstice. Like, if you read the Percy Jackson series, like, they kept saving they like saved the day on my birthday. Like, you're welcome, Percy Jackson. I'm kidding. I have to say though, I always felt so powerful when I'd be reading Percy Jackson and they'd be like the summer solstice, June 21st. I'd be like, exactly. I have to say that's why when I moved to Brazil for the first time, when I was like 9, I was pissed off because I was like, my birthday's the longest day of the year in like the northern hemisphere. Like, we're moving to like South America. It's going to be the shortest day of the year. Like, how dare you? So, yeah. My birthday is just like honestly the best day ever. The best day ever. Not only because it's the day I entered the world, but it's the day my twin sister entered the world. Like, imagine like 2 gifts for the price of 1. Magic. Picasso, love it. Whatever that sound is on TikTok. Everything in my brain is like based off of a TikTok sound. I haven't made a TikTok in a month either because my brain's been all over the place. But I don't know. I finally started, I mentioned this in a podcast like a month ago, maybe over a month ago, that I was reading, that I had started rereading the Percy Jackson series, and then I started rereading the Heroes of Olympus series, and I got halfway through the Son of Neptune, and I like stopped because I couldn't find it. When I started going through my boxes, I found it. And so I started reading it again. I'm so excited. I'm going to finish it and then get through the rest of the Heroes of Olympus and then start and then reread the Trials of Apollo. I've read every book from the Trials of Apollo except the last one, or maybe the last 2. I can't remember if I read the second to last one, but I haven't finished that series, although I have all 5 books. And so once I finish, because the Trials of Apollo happens like right after the Heroes of Olympus, like as soon as I finish the Heroes of Olympus series, I'm gonna reread the Trials of Apollo series again from the beginning and then finish it because I didn't finish it. And I'm really excited. I'm really excited. The Trials of Apollo, I have to say, if you haven't read it, but you read, like, Heroes of Olympus and you read Percy Jackson, like, you should definitely read it because, like, a lot of characters make a cameo and one character, like, dies. So, and I have to say, it's not a character I particularly cared about in the Heroes of Olympus series. And I bawled. I bawled when he died. Like, I bawled. It was not good. Like, I thought, like, I'm sure if I heard that he died, I would have been like, okay, who the fuck cares? I did. Genuinely, I cared. I cried so hard. It actually made me like him. I'm sad that he's dead. I think about it, I get sad. I get sad. I started reading the Magnus Chase series at some point. And they mentioned this character who dies. And it was before he canonically... It was before, I'm pretty sure, the book came out where he died. Because the Magnus Chase series is, like, older than the Trials of Apollo. And when they mentioned him, I was like, oh, R.I.P. But yeah, I also, you find out what, because in the Heroes of Olympus, spoiler, Leo Valdez, the guy who has the dragon. None of this means anything you've ever read the series. But he falls in love with Calypso and he, like, is determined to go back and save her. And so he kind of, like, disappears. It's, like, not confirmed that he's dead, I'm pretty sure, but it's, like, they don't see him. He comes back in the Trials of Apollo, so you know he's alive. He's not the one who dies. I liked him. Because he was Hispanic. So I bond with any Latinos, in, like, characters. But yeah. I really hope I get the job so I can move, so I can start a new phase in my life, so I can be designing newspapers every day, and so I can have enough money to finally get my Percy Jackson tattoo. I'm, like, so excited for whenever that eventually will happen. The Emmy Award for shortest hiatus goes to Emmy Cardinale. I give myself awards. I need to stop doing that. Okay. The Emmy Award, there was just a jump cut there because I gave an Emmy Award and then I was like, I didn't like that. Okay, I'm trying my best to get better at this. But I guess the Emmy Award for one of my favorite new songs goes to Rachel. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, for Ghost of My Therapist. That song popped off. I also, Lexi Jade released her EP called Closer to Closure. And I really love the song Someday. I've been listening to it on repeat. So those two songs for current fave songs. The Emmy Award for current fave songs goes to Ghost of My Therapist and Someday. So check those out. If you are interested in my music recommendations, please make sure to like, subscribe, turn on your bell notifications, follow me wherever you listen to podcasts, follow me on social media for any podcast updates. Let me know down below anything you want to hear from me. If you liked my brief little political spiel and you would like to hear more about my thoughts, let me know. I'm happy to give my opinions when I have time to think them out and speak eloquently on them. So if you want to hear more, if you agree with me, you disagree with me, that's cool. So yeah, please make sure to like and subscribe, all of that. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your patience. Hopefully next week will be normal. Hopefully the next few weeks will be normal. If I get the job and have to move at some point, that'll delay things. So yeah, my birthday is on a Tuesday. So hopefully there'll still be an episode out that Thursday. I'll probably just record it Tuesday, or maybe I won't want to record a podcast on my birthday. Anyways, regardless, hopefully the next few weeks will be normal. Starting next week, not this one. There'll be a podcast this week, but it won't be at the regular time. Hopefully starting next week, there'll be new episodes Thursday for the foreseeable future. If not, please just, again, bear with me and follow me so you know